wrong thing, huh? We just went with it here. See how far it go. Sonia, I said today when you see my stream live, the data, the phone just said the data done. It did a spin, spin, spin. We just put on it, you know? We said then Thief, Missy Brown. It was okay. It was good. I get gift. I get Christmas gift. I show them my gift. We get pants. Nice pants. Have pocket. I like them here with pocket. And don't believe they're nothing cheap, look. Tommy Hilfiger. I get my next pants. Let me tell you how I brand this. Liz Clearborn. Clearborn. Liz Clearborn. And next one. Love this. I love this. It's nice. Same Liz Clearborn. So this go with that. And then we get a dress. So that is my first gift for the holiday. And lovely dress too. I like it. I like the sleeve. Hold on there. Oh, I'm going to put myself on TikTok for my people dancing. Hold on there, man. For some people that are running up in my inbox and talking shit, it's never too late to go back to school. Oh. Yeah, let me tell you the brand. Aye, man. Aye, man. Me tell you now, when me get gift, me get all of them, I kind of sit there, because Lana Black, so you don't wait until... No, me not wait. Me not sure about see the 25th. Me see tonight, you're lucky. Me not wait, so, Lana. Me not wait for a thing. It's a lovely dress. I could wear it to church. With a nice little brooch right here. And I love the sleeve. So, things are going for me. That's my first gift. So we see where I go again. So this is my personal gift. And I can tell you, it's valuable. Yeah. You know all those brands. Me tell you the song when me get gift, me get brands. I never walk in a store and buy a name brand yet. I must tell you the truth where God love. Any name brand I want to see me wear, I always get them. Me have all one slippers, Burberry. My son give me that. And give me one next one the other day. Me I go show you it. My son give me one next one the other day. Pay name brand, him loving them. Me personally, me like fashion. So if it look nice and me like it, me buy it. But it's not because it's a brand. So me different from other people. Hold on. If I don't find out, I know this one. How is this name? Adelet. I don't know this. Anybody know this one? Anybody know this one? Adelet. Adelet. Since 1972. It's very nice. Adidas make them. See that? So, what should I make tonight be then? Gift night? Tonight a gift night. I sit my ginger beer. And make it a gift night. But I'm going to play a clip from if I send my clip while me here, I have to watch them before I play them because some I clip them on and send. It's not nothing wrong with them, but you just know Jamaica people stay already and you're going to hear say, oh, me over here cause I play bad word. So, I'm tired of the bad name now. So, anything I can avoid it, I'm going to try to avoid it. So, if you send me video, I have to see what the video say first. Today I'm going back in time for everybody talk about the light bill. I'm going to say to one lady, say, that's all you do, murmur, murmur, and do nothing about it. She say, we don't have to do nothing about it, just left everything to time. Just, you might say something you need to give the ass more rope, make them go angry themselves. Because they surely are going to hang themselves. And that's true. Give them a rope, make them go and go hang themselves.
Even as I share the pain of those who have suffered from Hurricane Melissa, there are still
very comfortable
950 people who are living in shelters.
950 people still in a shelter.
Still 90 emergency shelters up and running.
90 emergency
shelters
still up
to close. And 626,000 people were affected. 45 persons lost their lives directly. Others still counting from the consequences of disease, leptospirosis, for example, and we don't know what else. Your expression of gratitude to the international community is appreciated, because there is no question about the fact that countries responded so swiftly to the magnitude of the disaster which we experienced. You have listed the categories, and I don't think that it would serve us well for me to try and replicate what you have done, except to say that we are grateful and we recognize what was done. Minister, you did a very dangerous thing in calling people's name. I know that you are a very seasoned politician, but let me tell you, you never escape the wrath of some persons, and I have got some messages already. But suffice it to say that the magnitude of the response from our diaspora, from the woman who works as a housekeeper and who was sent home things to her community, to the artists who could put on international concerts, that had to be acknowledged. And indeed, it gives us an opportunity to reflect on just how much potential, how much goodwill, how much it is that we can harness the diaspora to help us in various ways and as we rebuild. Minister, CARICOM stepped up, and CARICOM has long described itself as a community of sovereign states. When this disaster hit, CARICOM was there, ready, smaller places than us, but they knew they had a role to play, and they did. And I want to salute that. For small states, and particularly for Caribbean small island states, this environment in which we are presently operating provides both opportunity and risk. For indeed, international cooperation does not take place in a neutral vacuum. We know that. You have warned me about what diplomacy means and that I have to learn that art.
Yeah.
I do know that assistance is shaped by global priorities, strategic interests, and shifting alliances. Disaster response, climate finance, infrastructure investment, and development assistance are increasingly intertwined with broader geopolitical considerations. We have navigated many such moments, and I am confident that we will all also navigate these. But I want to ask a question of you, Minister, and I hope that you will respond before I go. How do you see the future working with the international community? To put it differently, we have seen that Jamaica has raised significant loans and some grants. But do you see now that this is an opportunity? And will that be one of the things you will be doing to try to get now more tangible demonstrations of commitment to climate resilience? I say this because clearly we need more help than putting on roofs. We need technical assistance which will guide our people, develop the skills in our people to build differently, to build back better, and to build back bearing in mind that this is not the end of the tragedies which we will experience.
No, she feel correct her. Because she go out there gonna call. Well, I'm not hear this setting. Gonna call up other people's name and leave out some of the name as if some people help Jamaica. But Donna, me did really want to hear you ask her one question I'm not hear. And the question me want you to ask, how is it that the international community could have came out so quickly to help the Jamaica people while your government sit back and watch? But she never asked her the question. And it should have never go unnoticed. It should never go unnoticed that the international community reach out to the Jamaican people before the Jamaican government. I know they not reach out yet. So what if the international community never rush here and help? What would happen? Type in the comments. If the international community did not came to our assistance, what would have happened?
Running breaks your joints. Tai Chi builds them back.
Sure.
After 50 days, the studio can easily be transformed. It has host.
Statements by ministers.
Mr. President,
Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith.
Mr. President, if I might ask your leave for us to suspend the order of the agenda to allow us to take other matters while we wait for the printed copy of the statement. I understand that members usually prefer to follow along, and I understand it hasn't quite reached us as yet.
It's not a problem, Minister.
Unless that has changed since we made the request.
We can recommit the
Yes,
matter when
to
the time
recommit.
comes.
Thank you.
And of course, I neglected to point out that Senator Brown is online. Seek permission of the members of the Senate for him to join us remotely. Those in favor? Welcome, Senator Brown. Can you hear me?
Thank you, President. I'm here. Thank you. All the best to the team.
Okay, thank you very much. Announcements?
Later. We also extend our sympathies to the governments and families who have lost loved ones in the Eastern Pacific, in Canada, the United States, and Mexico, which all experienced difficult weather events occasioning loss of life this year. Mr. President, with your leave, might I invite members of this Honorable Senate and the teams present today to join me in observing a moment of silence for those who have suffered loss, and particularly loss of life as a result of the effects of tropical cyclones this year.
All right, we'll have a moment of silence. Good night. All members can just stand for that moment, please. Thank you.
Want to listen to it before we comment on it. Good night, Clive.
May their souls rest in peace and may their families be comforted by the grace of God.
Minister, you can continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I will now address more specifically the matter of Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica with particular regard to international collaboration and goodwill, other aspects having already been treated with by my colleague senators. On October 28, 2025, as we all know, Hurricane Melissa, one of the strongest Atlantic storms ever, and the first Category 5 hurricane in recorded history to hit Jamaica directly, made landfall. Widespread and severe damage was inflicted on the parishes of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, and Manchester. And as we know from the World Bank assessment, the percentage of physical damage impacted on the parishes in order of proportionality is set out in this order. St. Elizabeth experienced more than 60% of the damage caused by Melissa, and the others progressively less. Mr.
Not
President,
true.
though the damage
Not true.
was immense,
Hold
is
on,
no
I can
doubt
stop you
that
right
our
there.
proactive
Shut up your mouth. World Bank can't come say that. Because that's not true. World Bank can't say that. I only tell World Bank that. I visited the place on 4 different occasions. And the impact of the storm is more in Westmoreland. Not all of St. Elizabeth got impacted from the storm. Minimal in some place. But from your touch Westmoreland, straight along. So our World Bank for determine say St. Elizabeth were most 60% damage more than Westmoreland. That's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy.
Measures ensured that Jamaica faced Hurricane Melissa in the greatest possible state of readiness to safeguard our people and to enable a rapid transition into relief and recovery. Once it was safe for the government to do so, the government moved quickly to search and rescue phase and to get relief and affected communities with urgency and unity of purpose to protect life and to preserve order. I want to thank and commend the several private sector companies, individuals and groups, including faith-based organizations, which immediately mobilized aids for the affected communities.
You ever come contact about say, hearing. After nobody now call you for come listen. I don't say why you come here and say that. Just let us get together and build Jamaica we want to see. That not gonna happen. As long as politics involved, it will never happen. So don't fool yourself. I do what I could do in my small way. Because I don't have money, I'm not rich, I'm not work. But what I could do, I do. I make 4 trips down there. I make 5 trips overall to different places. So now come here and talk about as if you don't want to hear. After me then tell you to listen. Me tell you listen. And that we talk over here, so you don't want to hear and come over here. Simple as that.
This complemented the government's efforts through the various ministries, departments, and agencies. Mr. President, if I look specifically at the role of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, I note that in one of Jamaica's most challenging times, the ministry has had the honor of serving as a linchpin for coordinating and managing one of the most critical components of Jamaica's post-Melissa response. The tremendous support and outpouring of goodwill we have had from the international community, including our diaspora. All our missions are serving as focal points for the sharing of information and the coordination of efforts overseas. And Ambassador Anderson in Washington, D.C. has the lead role of coordinating as between them and as needed. Mr. President, in the lead up to and since the event, countless governments have reached out to offer their solidarity and in many cases tangible support. And this has included not only formal support, but informal engagement to the Prime Minister, to myself, and indeed to other ministers and colleagues as they have expressed a most sincere and authentic desire to see Jamaica rebound stronger and a deep sense of sorrow at the economic regression, which undoubtedly will be part of the impact, or is part of the impact. Mr. President, notable among the immediate response was the in-kind assistance from the international community, which has included heavy equipment for the removal of debris, helicopters, generators and drones, field hospitals, food, water purifiers, solar batteries and lamps, medical supplies, tarpaulins, bedding, personal hygiene kits and others identified by ODPEM's standard and heavy-duty needs list, which we circulated to diplomatic missions present and to our missions overseas for sharing more widely. I must commend our international partners for the level of care and sensitivity, the thoughtfulness, in fact, Mr. President, that has been taken to the appropriateness of the donations relevant to the circumstances we have been experiencing. Mr. President, if I look specifically at bilateral donations, which we've gratefully received, I just wish to express our gratitude once again for the ready support and the donations we've received and are grouped by region for simplicity, Mr. President. Within CARICOM and the Caribbean,
Good night,
the Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, the Dominican Republic, Guyana, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, St. Lucia, and Trinidad and Tobago. In Latin America, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, El Salvador, Peru, and Venezuela. North America, Canada, and the United States of America. In Europe, the European Union Civil Protection Mechanism, and the INPA as well, Belgium, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Spain, and not necessarily part of Europe anymore, but in the region, the United Kingdom. Mr. President, in Asia, China, India, Japan, and Korea. In Africa, Ethiopia, Ghana, and Rwanda, and in other regions, Israel and New Zealand. Mr. President, in addition to the much appreciated relief items, please allow me to highlight some of the teams which have provided critical support. The disaster assistance relief teams from the USA and Canada's operational support hub have been phenomenal. And I just want to remind colleagues that in 2023, Jamaica signed an MOU with Canada to establish the operational support hub at Norman Manley International Airport as a regional support mechanism to be stood up whenever there's a time of great need across MDAs and with the leadership of the Canadian military and their agencies and the Jamaica Defense Force. And this was stood up early in the response to Melissa and has been a phenomenal support to all the logistical movements in and out of the airport. Mr. President, over 300 personnel equipped with expertise in emergency assistance, medical care, search and rescue and recovery came from El Salvador. Field hospitals staffed with 76 persons twice over in terms of medical personnel from Spain. They're all volunteers. 76 came for 2 weeks, and then they rotated with another set of 76 volunteers, not paid, not required medical teams who came to spend 2 weeks again here manning the field hospital, also on loan from the government and people of Spain. Also a field hospital with over 60 medical personnel from Barbados. And here we also express appreciation for the funding being provided by UK's FCDO to facilitate this presence and operation here. Electricity line workers through Carilec from Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Canada, Cayman Islands, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and the United States. And we know this continues as we speak. Medical teams from India, Israel, and various states of the United States of America, including diaspora teams who have rotated and come even for a few days or a week to see where they're able to give assistance. A medical ship from China with its 300-bed hospital has state-of-the-art equipment and extensive medical personnel staffing it, treated thousands of Jamaican patients, and military personnel from Barbados, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Ghana, Guyana, and Rwanda to come, conducting roofing repair missions, as well as an assessment team from Ethiopia who came, and we will update once they have had their further consultations at home. And in respect of Ghana, because they are the most recent, I just had the honor and pleasure of receiving the contingent last night, 58 personnel from the engineering corps of the 48th Regiment of the Ghanaian Armed Forces, landed last night, transported here together with equipment from as mundane as wheelbarrow and chainsaws to generators, rations, self-sustaining, solar lamps, construction equipment, all here due to cooperation between the U.S., Ghana, and Jamaica, ensuring that they have 6 weeks now to be constructing roofs and other affected personal infrastructure, and they will be deployed in 2 days' time, as they have now set up camp at Up Park Camp, as they pull together all the construction equipment that has been pulled together by the JDF, and they will be deployed to communities identified in 3 communities to start, identified in St. Elizabeth, based on the assessments undertaken by the MLSS. We know that the armed forces of the Guyanese Defense Force are on the ground in Westmoreland now, and their roof construction is underway. So this is the next phase. We are looking to finalize the arrangements with personnel from Rwanda. Will be the next component to come, and again, all of this takes place with coordination between the ODPEM, the MLSS on their assessments, and it is really looking at giving the greatest impact as possible. Again, thanking Triangular Cooperation, where the U.S. has the transportation, Ghanaians have the personnel. We provide the construction equipment that has either been donated or procured, and together we ensure with the housing, transportation, and logistics management of the JDF that this immediate recovery reconstruction is able to commence as early as possible. So again, we thank President Mahama, who agreed so quickly to the request of Prime Minister Holness, and indeed my counterpart, Minister Blackwell, who has been phenomenal in helping to move things forward, and indeed thank President Ali, who also, having come on the ground and seen the circumstances in Westmoreland, the Prime Minister asking him to assist in that area, having agreed to immediately on his return start to mobilize, which he has done as promised, and all the others. We will continue to update, even as we express thanks to them directly, but place our appreciation right here on the record of the Hansard. I want to thank Prime Minister Motley as well, in particular, who has also worked with her Barbados Defense Force and the SCDO and SEDIMA to mobilize personnel to come with a field hospital, and they are in operation, I believe it is in Savlamar. So again, Mr. President, it is of great significance to Jamaica that our friends and partners extend this solidarity in action despite even their own challenges. And we express appreciation for triangular partnerships that gives a particular richness to the cooperation we experienced. Mr. President, I want our partners and our friends to know that the government of Jamaica does not take their support for granted. Indeed, we are in no way and feel in no way entitled to the support that we receive. We are simply deeply and sincerely grateful for all that they do. Mr. President, I would ask that the Senate provide a round of applause for our international partners who are here. Out of pure love for Jamaica and solidarity. Mr. President, technical support from regional and international organizations has also been significant, especially those with offices in Kingston, where their support was immediate and targeted. We
I want to listen because much later answer, but you don't understand why she
which pivoted in their
answer.
programming immediately to respond to needs as best as possible. In particular, UNICEF.
Digicel is gifting smiles this season. 64 lucky customers will win 250,000.
The International Organization for Migration, the World Food Programme, and the World Health Organization stand out. And in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO and UNICEF in particular, continue to support mobile clinics, mobile pharmacy services, mental health and psychosocial support, and the distribution of wash kits, as the water and sanitation health kits, and medical supplies to shelters and communities. Mr. President, the UN Secretary General deployed a mission from the Office of Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs to Jamaica, led by an Undersecretary General, to ensure that they had highest level visibility of the plans to move forward with support. And technical support has also been committed to the ODPEM, and a subsequent briefing held with UN member states and their development partners meeting held regularly, both with SEDIMA and as within the UN, on the impact of Hurricane Melissa on Caribbean countries, on Jamaica in particular, and on the plans to support going forward. Mr. President, we're also grateful to the OAS, and SEDIMA comes in for special mention because they have been an absolutely wonderful coordinating partner, pulling together support pre-positioned and otherwise for other partners to be able to send it to Jamaica. And we really want to commend them and commend their executive director, Liz Riley, for all that she has done to pull them together. The EU's civil protection mechanism and their international partnerships mechanism, the INPA, as well as the International Federation of the Red Cross and others, which have rallied to our cause, we are grateful. I want to mention here, Mr. President, that sometimes members of the public hear announcements of countries giving millions of dollars of support to Jamaica, and in their minds, it means that they are giving millions of dollars of cash to the government of Jamaica. And I think now is a good time to clarify once more that this is actually generally not the case. If there's a cash donation, it is named as such, but otherwise it is usually donations that are made to the Red Cross, to World Central Kitchens, World Food Programme, IOM, UNICEF, UN Women, all of the agencies that come together and deliver support, so that the funding doesn't necessarily come to Jamaica, but it's a value of support that is dedicated to providing Hurricane Melissa support from or based in Jamaica. And I think it's good to understand that, because sometimes there is a sense that there are these, that there's large amounts of cash being injected, and not that we have not gotten an excellent reflection of the recognition of the practicality of cash donations, and many have donated, and I think those figures have been announced from time to time and updated by Minister Maurice Dixon, responsible for information, Commander Gale, and the Minister of Finance in their relevant fora. But just to share in this context that many of these organizations, this is how they function, bilateral partners, instead of donating directly, donate support through agencies and NGOs which have mechanisms better able and more nimble to deliver support. Mr. President, at the intergovernmental level, the membership of several international organizations have also taken action to adopt decisions or resolutions which demonstrate their support for Jamaica and request member states to provide assistance. Of note, the OAS adopted a resolution calling on its membership to provide support to the countries in the region which have been impacted. And the Inter-American Board of Agriculture also adopted a resolution expressing solidarity with countries in the region affected by the hurricane, requesting its membership to provide support and authorizing the ICA to cooperate with affected countries to provide technical cooperation assistance. Mr. President, in respect of diaspora support, I really am so pleased to report that there has been an outpouring of love that is unprecedented from the Jamaican diaspora, from friends of Jamaica all over the world. And indeed, the The ports tell the story, given that in addition to what has come through for usual increase in Christmas, in Christmas movement of Christmas cargo, is that the diaspora donations are also coming in heavily at this time. Working alongside the Honorable Alando Terrelong, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington has been tasked to coordinate overseas international donation efforts through diaspora and NGOs. And this oversight includes information sharing, outreach, guidance on the drop-off points. There have been drop-off points all over the countries in which we not only have large diaspora locations, but smaller ones as well, like Australia and Netherlands. It has really been an amazing, in Ghent, in Belgium. I mean, we really have our people all over the world have really felt mobilized and motivated to help. Mr. President, in particular, I would like to thank, and I'm noting here that this list is very long, and if my voice gives out somewhere in it, I will ask your leave to have Hansard read it because it's really quite a long list, Mr. President. Mr. Oliver Mayer, Jamaica's Consul General in Miami, has really been phenomenal in mobilizing the committee and the community, and I know people have been seeing him not only packing himself, but pulling in from every corner that support could be brought. The late Alcyon Wilson, even from her hospital bed, started with the coordination until her capacity took a downturn. But the team at the Consulate General certainly worked in her name and in her spirit, making sure, as they constantly said, CG would want us to do this, CG would want us to make sure they continued to keep the work going. And I recognize my staff there, as well as Mr. Chris Benjamin in particular, who really stood out in trying to make things continue as best as possible. Mr. Nathaniel Pete, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council's UK South representative, he's still on the ground pulling things together as we speak. Dr. Stephanie Fletcher-Larty, the Honorary Consul to Australia, as well as the GJDC Council representative for Asia and the Pacific. Mr. Glenroy McIntosh, the GJDC Caribbean representative.
The internet again. I'm wrong with the internet here. We not hear the number of them, we don't ask them not talk about the money. Hold on, yeah. Let me see how this stuff, man. The internet. The internet. I don't know what's wrong with the internet. As somebody I look for argue with, go find something to do. Go find something to do. As somebody I look for argue with. Me not an argument with you because I don't know you and you don't know me. So I don't know where.
You're staying for less with app exclusive prices.
So I don't know where you left, where you they come on the platform for come look argument. Don't argue with me because I not argue with you.
For their commitment, their compassion, their willingness to stand with us. Their support has not only assisted in the relief effort, but will continue to be critical to the rebuilding of infrastructure and restoration of essential services. Each gesture of support reflects the strength of our shared partnerships and the enduring value of bilateral,
You come
regional,
ready for
and
countries
international
because me come here,
cooperation.
in an
They also
argument with nothing.
reaffirm
You
our
don't hear me call your
confidence in the
Prime
power
Minister and
of
you don't hear me say
unity
nothing.
and collective
You
action.
listen to the
Mr. President,
Senate
I
yesterday.
reiterate our deepest gratitude to
That's
all,
what we there listen to,
including
the
our
Senate, but
particularly
you're ready to
special
come here for
diaspora
argue.
family, working with
People
us
like
to
when
bring
I
hope,
really want to
comfort,
be around
and
on.
life-saving assistance to our people. Their spirit of solidarity has given renewed meaning to diplomacy, restoring faith in humanity, and inspiring Jamaica to press forward with confidence to a brighter, stronger, and more prosperous and resilient future. Finally, Mr. President, I thank my Foreign Ministry team, each and every one of them who has given their very best in hard work and dedication. Their support makes these positive outcomes possible in conjunction with our colleague ministries.
Well, I want to clap for. One arena in a Senate clap.
Mr. President, senators will agree that the year has been unforgettable in several respects, but we will continue to leverage our resilience as a people in collaboration with the support of our friends and partners in the international community to build back better, stronger, and more resilient Jamaica land we love. We give thanks for our continued blessings, as even though hardships there are,
You're right,
the land is green and the sun shineth. I thank you, Mr. President.
Listen,
Thank you very much,
listen
Minister.
to the reporter now.
Senator and,
Scott Markley.
and leader of opposition business, spokesperson in relation to this matter. Yes. You have 15 minutes as a lead up and then your question.
President, thank you. I want to just formally announce, as I have spoken to you before, that I do have a pressing engagement, not unrelated to my portfolio, that had been set up for 6 weeks prior. And so I want to be clear that I'm not disrespecting anybody when I have to leave. Minister, you would understand how these things work. I want to thank the Minister for her outline. Even as I share the pain of those who have suffered from Hurricane Melissa, there are still 950 people who are living in shelters. Still 90 emergency shelters up and running, and some which are scheduled to close. And 626,000 people were affected.
You hear that?
45 persons lost their lives directly. Others still counting from the consequences of disease, leptospirosis, for example, and we don't know what else. Your expression of gratitude to the international community is appreciated, because there is no question about the fact that countries responded so swiftly to the magnitude of the disaster which we experienced. You have listed the categories, and I don't think that it would serve us well for me to try and replicate what you have done, except to say that we are grateful and we recognize what was done. Minister, you did a very dangerous thing in calling people's name. I know that you are a very seasoned politician, but let me tell you, you never escape the wrath of some persons, and I have got some messages already. But suffice it to say that the magnitude of the response from our diaspora, from the woman who works as a housekeeper and who was sent home things to her community, to the artists who could put on international concerts, that had to be acknowledged. And indeed, it gives us an opportunity to reflect on just how much potential, how much goodwill, how much it is that we can harness the diaspora to help us in various ways and as we rebuild. You know, I listened to you and I have taken a particular note in climate resilience. Firstly, because Prime Minister Mia Mottley had made such an impassioned speech at one of the UN meetings, and then taking the time to listen to Senator Matthew Samuda and Senator Sophia Fraser-Binns, who worked in complete harmony, recognizing that they had to work across the aisle on this very important engagement. But I say this, Minister, when are we going to see the proof, substantial proof of the conversations and the speeches? And perhaps now, when we have a hurricane of this magnitude, which they say is completely unprecedented, they can't call it a category. They only call it Category 5 because that's the highest they've ever had. Isn't it time now that we see people step up to the plate and begin to see action instead of speeches? I don't know if you are aware or you could advise someone like me of the real tangible plans which are in place so to do.
But your title and carry.
Minister, CARICOM stepped up. And CARICOM has long described itself as a community of sovereign states. When this disaster hit, CARICOM was there, ready, smaller places than us, but they knew they had a role to play, and they did. And I want to salute that. For small states, and particularly for Caribbean small island states, this environment in which we are presently operating provides both opportunity and risk. For indeed, international cooperation does not take place in a neutral vacuum. We know that. You have warned me about what diplomacy means and that I have to learn that art. I do know that assistance is shaped by global priorities, strategic interests, and shifting alliances.
Yeah, we want to hear the interest.
Disaster response, climate finance, infrastructure investment, and development assistance are increasingly intertwined with broader geopolitical considerations.
Yes.
We have navigated many such moments, and I am confident that we will all also navigate these. But I want to ask a question of you, Minister, and I hope that you will respond before I go. How do you see the future working with the international community? To put it differently, we have seen that Jamaica has raised significant loans and some grants. But do you see now that this is an opportunity? And will that be one of the things you will be doing to try to get now more tangible demonstrations of commitment to climate resilience? I say this because clearly we need more help than putting on roofs. We need technical assistance which will guide our people, develop the skills in our people to build differently, to build back better, and to build back bearing in mind that this is not the end of the tragedies which we will experience. I also it was very interesting, and I really appreciated it, that you outlined how the assistance had come. Because there are people out there who feels that all of this money has gone to the government. And it was very appropriate that you outlined that although it is calculated in terms of money, it's a value. Thank you. But we still need a level of accountability, and that was what you were doing today. So we would like to know how it is that we can track recorded, because there are many, many which you don't know about yet, and you might never know about. But how can we track the contributions which have been made and which are in the system so that a citizen can see what is happening in real time?
You're not going to say that.
I also...
That not going to happen. That will never happen.
I have a concern. I have a serious concern. I was saying to a friend of mine who had recently lost a family member, how do you feel when someone dies and everyone comes? You see so many people that you wish they would stop coming, and you get so many calls. And then the funeral is over and there is silence. I have a deep concern about the future of those who are impacted by Melissa. Yesterday in Hanover, there was mourning because AmeriCares, which I don't think, an NGO which I don't think you mentioned, but they had been giving medical support. They were leaving.
Yeah.
And people leave after a time. That's inevitable. And people leave when Christmas time comes. But Christmas time is really the worst time for people to leave, because we have a psychological expectation of what Christmas should mean to all of us. And I have a concern. I have a concern about a deep sense of grief and loss which persons will be experiencing over Christmas. I
understand what you're saying.
therefore ask you to share with us a strategy.
That's why I want to look at treat for the
beyond
picnic
this
them now.
almost 3 months. And people have been generous. The international
understand what
community
you said now.
has been generous with their time, their expertise, their resources, their equipment. But what is the long-term strategy, if possible, for you to say? What is the
Where's the
long-term
judge? I like gun in
strategy
them pocket. Dina,
for addressing the immediate concerns? Now, I understand that you are going to have different strategies for different situations.
LeBron.
And I'm not talking about a long-term strategy on which I'm absolutely clear.
Peace out, making it easier for you to order your favorite pizzas, no waste no time.
Of how we have to return to growth, of how we have to demonstrate resilience, of how we have to build back the buildings that we have lost. But just like for the next 3 months, is there a strategy for these people when they leave the shelters which are needed, because we need to get back children in schools, we need to get back communities function? Can you share that strategy? It might have been Yes, I know what this was. I know this was intended to be a placing on the record, a gesture of appreciation. But even if to point to some issues which must be addressed, because at the end of the day, everything is about people. Everything comes back to people. And you have to, therefore, look at their welfare in a different way from, the kind of traditional structures. You really have to
the internet is trouble, If you cut off on the note, the internet here.
Minister, it's a matter for you as to how you want to deal with the question. Scott Motley had asked that you just respond to her because she has to leave, so you could do that. And then...
Because it really was... Mr. President, I thank Senator Scott Motley for her intervention and her recognition of the incredible work of our partners and friends. And I ask that she share with me the messages that have been sent to her of outrage regarding yes, so the what about me messages, those are the people I was speaking to, because it is absolutely impossible. And I'm quite sure if I even open my phone, I will know that there are people in here who have spoken to me about sending things whose names are not on this list, because this is an official list that works with ODPEM and works with it is a little more, maybe has a greater focus of the ministry than at the personal level. And indeed, recognizing the individual who sends, it is impossible because the outpouring has been so great, which is why I make again the broad I don't know how to frame it, but my broadest expression of appreciation on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica to our diaspora communities and to the friends of Jamaica, because there are people who are dead, have no Jamaican in their family, they have no Jamaican in their workplace, but they have an affinity
Thank you,
and a love.
Nadia. So look
And
at
they
it.
have pulled together and have sent help. It's incredible. Even the people who just take up their credit card and pledge on supportjamaica.gov.jm with up to the $1,000 limit. In fact, the ambassador of Kenya to the OACPS he started
Alright, we
with
can't
his own
bother with she
donation
now.
and took on his own personal.
We don't bother with she no more. Let me look at what you send me now. Boy, this internet I get problem in the Nadi. Let me see if I can connect it to the oh Lord, Jesus, I can't. Them something I not gonna work out with the internet. Let me see if I can change it to the I something like that, I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, I saw it. I may try for it may try for play, but the internet wouldn't open it. So I put it back on the Starlink. I can't play that naughty with the music. A GLP internet it looks so for real. I think I see it yesterday. I can't play it on the internet, on the platform. Alright, I'm going to open the phone lines now. I open the phone lines now. I don't know. Same way today I upload one video. I know a video can upload. I know a video can upload. Yeah, I can play that on YouTube. Hey, you're not careful what you're doing out there. Man, you're not fall. Cause listen me, this woman not got no further on her bed, here. Oh. The internet now work on this phone. I can't bother with it. I can't. But anyway, on the news with the boy killing mother and brother. Me say, I pay madness are going on, you know. The boy, I never say boy mad. And the boy a fisherman. So if he mad, you see, when he go out at sea, we making him jump off in the sea. Oh, him so mad. But when he go catch fish, he go catch a fish and come back on land. And he not mad. Oh, much clarity was given and he will take the help. Okay. Don't me say the boy have mental health. So when he go to sea, him then jump off in the sea. But he act him mother and his brother and his cousin to death. And he have mental health. Oh, them a try silent me the ranks. Why do they want silent unless God Uncle person can silent me a God when he say stop talk. If he say stop talk, me stop. Cause me listen to the voice and the voice will tell me. But me figure them a do something, man. Them a plan something for we. Trust me. But man a plan, Hyacinth, and God a wife. Yeah. When I saw the news, I said, you know, me need to, you have to watch them pitney where you have. Cause the devil are jumping at them. The boy analyze his mother and brother and his cousin. Hey, you wanna stop it nice? And your ear say him mad. Which part I am mad? Huh? Wanna tell me? Nobody want to call in tonight. If you don't call in, you know, I'm going to go on my bed. Customer face delay in major money transfer after system overhaul. Enough people don't get their money today. Not even some of the machine them never work. So I want to know when the son are going to replace man with AI. If I them a kind of system we are going to undergo. Every minute the machine they not work. System overhaul. People couldn't get their money today. You see them send me once to the apps, you know. You lose your money at NCB to the robot man craven ear. No. Oh my God. Anybody want to call in? You know the number? Over TikTok. If you want to join, you send me an invite. If not, me go on my bed early. Can I wake up early this morning? You know, my damn market 6 o'clock, you know. AI mean Andrew Injustice. I like the one there. AI, Andrew Injustice. Your mother eat off your money and you analyze your mother for that. How much money your mother spend on you bring it to where you be. The boy evil. The boy is evil. That is it. Alright, nobody now calling and me want to sleep. So you know, so me have left a program for tonight. And we catch up on the night. My one can sit down and talk it all 2 hours. Somebody have to help me talk and nobody not calling. So I'm going to my bed. I'm going to get myself a shower and go to my bed. I wake up early. So join me tomorrow evening. Tomorrow or Sunday. Oh, I'm not so sure. How am I do tomorrow? Yeah, I think I'll come on tomorrow though. But not with politics. Yeah, I'll just go to my bed, go lay down. Because nobody not call you. And one can sit down up and talk. So, I need people to talk and help me talk. I never see Fergie him tonight. I never see Mansa. I never see none of my people them on TikTok. Jermaine Brown, good night. How you doing, Dalmain? 2 times you got a bank and I get no money. Oh, you're in the bed now, Jennifer. Okay. You get up the next 4 hours for work. Alright, go and go sleep. Oh, one thing with me now. When I want to sleep, I can't tell you no one thing. Nothing is going to stop me from sleep but sleep. So, nobody now want to come on and help me. I have to just go on my bed. I wonder where them picking it around there, though, man. Hey! I top of ramping now, man, and I ramp from all day. Bedtime. Then my grandparents, let me know. And one more soon can join the gang. Oh, what this now? House full, room full. Yeah. Anyway, love you. Have yourself a great night and I'll catch you later. Bye.